Well, welcome to another movie in the continuing tag series about wonderful things happening at the Artist Gallery in Frederick. We have a new visitors log sheet, which you're seeing now on the screen. The method and the madness behind this is to attempt to collect more information about the people who actually visit the gallery. This benefit would be to the members would be that we know more about who's coming to the gallery, where they're coming from, and where they heard about the gallery. This would enable us to be more targeted in advertising and marketing. So collection of this data is a benefit for everyone. The sheets are in the gallery now, and beginning tomorrow, which is September the 5th, 2014, we would appreciate if you could follow the new format as much as possible. So let's just go over the sheet briefly, and then I'll also talk about some key questions that you might ask people in order to gain this information. So the first column over here is a time frame. So this is 12 to 1 down all the way down to 4 to 5. So it's an hour separation. Within this area, you'd make hash marks for each visitor who comes in. If it's their first visit, if you can determine that, which we'd like to know, you put a hash mark here. So if you've got 10 here and you've got 7 here, we know 7 new people came. Where they came from, this is really one of the most critical things, as well as knowing how they heard about us. So finding out where they come from is also an important piece of information that helps us with targeting where we would advertise and market for the benefit of everyone in the gallery. Another interesting question to try to find out is, are they typically a person who collects art, or are they just a casual art buyer? And of course, if they'll fill out the visitor's log with their name and email address, that would be wonderful. But if they do that, then it would be good to put beside that they are a collector. The next column, I see a little typo here, but that's all right. We'll live through that. Is where they heard about tag. This is probably the most critical question you can ask, because this tells us what's working as far as what we're doing now in regards to promotion and publicity and advertising, and would help us direct efforts to improve that, to reinforce the things that are working, and maybe get rid of some of the things that really don't work. The next column is walk-in, which is just a hash mark. If they really, their first time visit, they just walked in, they've never heard of us before at all, and they just happened to be on the street and walked in. So that sort of distinguishes between these two. This area here leaves you another area that you can fill in with some comments about what's going on the left-hand side. You can also flip the sheet over and write comments on the back. Just target it to the session or the person if you've got a name there. Also, you want to always fill in the day of the week and the full date, including the year. Your name as a sitter, and if this is page 1 of 2, or because you run out of space and you need to go to another sheet, then make that sheet page 2. So that's pretty much it. The forms are in the booklet and should be ready to go as of tomorrow. Okay, here's a way some suggestions as to how you might elicit some of this information. It may be not something you ever thought about, but basically if you're gallery sitting, you are in a position of selling the gallery and the work that's in it. So in order to find out some of the information that's on the gallery form, these are some suggested questions that you might ask someone who comes into the gallery to elicit that information. I'm sure you'll wind up using your own words. That's just fine. The object is to find out the information. What I generally do is tell them that they're welcome to the gallery and to let me know if they have any questions. I'm probably still sitting at the desk at that point. Then I'll watch their activity and see if they're within a few seconds or within a half a minute or so, if they look to be somewhat serious because they're taking time to really look at the work. Then I'll ask them, is this their first visit to our gallery? And that sort of gets the conversation started. They'll say yes or no, generally, of course. And then my next question may be something to the effect of, how often do you come to Frederick? And that may get a response, well, I live in Frederick, so I'm here a lot. Or it may say, well, not very often. Well, what town do you live in? Would be my next question, to find out where they're coming from. And here again, this most key question is, how did you hear about TAG, or how did you find out about our gallery? Either phrase it either way you want. That is critical to understand where the walk-in visitors are coming from. Walk-in in the sense that they're walking in to a regular daily opening rather than a gallery opening on Saturday night. Another question I've asked people to find out what their inclination is towards collecting art is, do they enjoy visiting galleries? Then I might follow that up with, are you an art collector or not? I wouldn't say or not. I'd just say, are you an art collector? And they'll answer yes or no. And all these questions can elicit a conversation between you and the person coming into the gallery, or the couple, whatever it might be, which will help us get information that we can use to benefit everyone in the gallery by hopefully bringing in more people and more targeted people. So that's about it. Thank you very much for listening.